She walked into the bank wearing confidence, success, and the title of CEO, a woman who had built her career from nothing. Yet in the very place where her name commanded respect, she was met with disbelief, suspicion, and something far uglier. What unfolded wasn't just an insult, it was a humiliation that no amount of power or status could shield her from. But in the minutes that followed, this story took a turn no one in that bank could have expected. How does a woman go from being torn down in public to turning an entire institution upside down?
Her name was Dana Mitchell, a woman whose story was meant to be one of triumph. She had shattered ceilings in corporate America, rising from a childhood of struggle to become the CEO of her own financial firm. She wore her success quietly, letting her work and her reputation speak louder than any title could. For Dana, the bank wasn't just a building. It was a place she had poured years of strategy, sacrifice, and leadership into.
But success doesn't erase skin color. And in the world she lived in, no amount of titles, no amount of power could shield her from the shadows of doubt others carried. On what should have been just another visit to oversee business, Dana was about to face a reality she thought her achievements had long outrun. A reality that would remind her, in the harshest way, that to some, she would never be seen as the CEO. Dana walked into the bank like she had countless times before, her heels clicking against the polished marble floor. To the tellers and managers, she wasn't just another customer. She was the woman whose signature authorized major accounts, whose leadership kept the very institution afloat. But today, something felt different. Instead of greetings or recognition, she was met with blank stares, then suspicious eyes.
She approached the counter to request a standard business transaction. Simple, routine. Yet the clerk's gaze lingered too long, scanning her ID as though it were forged. Her name, her position, her title, none of it seemed to matter. Instead of efficiency, there was hesitation. Instead of respect, there was doubt.
"Can you wait here a moment?" the clerk asked, voice tight, as though Dana were trying to pull a scam rather than manage her own accounts. Seconds turned to minutes. Behind the counter, whispers grew, phones rang, eyes darted in her direction. Customers began to notice the shift, sensing tension without knowing why.
And then it happened. 2 security guards approached, stiff and formal, their presence heavy with accusation. They didn't ask for clarification. They didn't offer courtesy. Instead, they demanded she step aside, away from the line, as if she were a threat in the very building her leadership helped sustain.
Dana's heart pounded, not from guilt, but from rage and disbelief. She had spent her life earning respect, only to be treated as if her very identity was fraudulent. People in the lobby stared, some with curiosity, others with judgment. Every glance felt like a verdict. She doesn't belong here. Her words, measured, calm, professional, fell on deaf ears. The guards loomed closer, questioning her legitimacy, questioning her right to even stand where she was. It wasn't about protocol. It wasn't about policy. It was about the unspoken bias that painted her success as impossible, her authority as unearned. What Dana didn't know in that moment was that the situation was about to spiral further. The more she stood her ground, the more resistance she faced. The whispers grew louder, the glares sharper. What should have been a routine visit was turning into a public spectacle, one that would test not just her patience, but her very dignity. And just when it seemed humiliation had reached its peak, the bank made a choice that would turn this from a slight into something much darker. A choice that would not only shake Dana's world, but expose the institution itself for what it truly was. The police never got the chance to arrive. Before they could, Dana made one call of her own, not as a helpless victim, but as the CEO whose authority stretched far beyond that lobby. Within minutes, executives, board members, and senior partners were on the line. The same institution that had humiliated her was suddenly scrambling to cover itself, realizing too late who they had just tried to discredit. The guards were dismissed, the clerk was silenced, and the whispers in the lobby turned into stunned recognition. The woman they had tried to strip of dignity was, in fact, the one who held the future of the bank in her hands. Dana did not raise her voice. She didn't need to. Her power was undeniable, and this time, it wasn't just about saving face, it was about exposing the truth. In the days that followed, investigations began. Policies were reviewed. And while the bank's leadership tried to sweep the incident under the rug, Dana made sure the stain could never be erased. For her, it was never just about revenge. It was about making sure no one else would have to endure what she did in a place meant to serve everyone equally. Her story is not an isolated one. It is a reflection of the daily battles fought by countless people whose worth is questioned, whose presence is doubted, not because of their actions, but because of the color of their skin.